Hello, thank you for clicking on the video. I hope you get something from this video and you're able to use some of the skills that I teach you in your own DIY projects. I have decided to start posting videos on YouTube. I have a wife who's pregnant. She's due in July, and we have a 6-year-old daughter, and I need to prepare the house for the newborn. We found out she was pregnant about 7 months ago, and we've been blessed to know that we have another child coming. We've been trying for a long time, and we are so happy. Right now, I am just preparing the room for moving my daughter into the playroom. She currently lives in the room next to that room. She wants to move there because it's bigger, and the new baby boy will go into her existing room. I have to go through all of her clutter. As you can see, she has a bunch of crayons, markers, toys, puzzles, books, everything under the sun that she's received from birthdays, Christmas gifts, and just her uncles spoiling her. So we got to go through all that. I have these cabinets here that I have procured from a project that didn't go well and they were made incorrectly. So I'm going to put them in this closet, as you see in that area there. I have some spare boards in the garage that I'm going to be using as cleats to help me lift and secure the cabinets into place. They are so heavy. They're made of MDF with veneer, and it's just a heavy material. So as you can see here, I'm measuring out 34 3/4, which is the length of the distance between the upper shelf and the bottom of the first cabinet that I'm going to install. This is how I cut boards. There is a line and a perpendicular line. The perpendicular line that is, I'm calling the leg, is going to be cut off. And the reason that we put this line here is so we know which side of the line to cut. And in this case, it's the left side of the line. In woodworking, that just helps you as a guide. If you mark the board and then you start reorienting the board, you say, oh, which side of the line do I need to cut? And in most cases, that cut needs to be perfect. The thickness of the blade is 1/8 of an inch, so that can make your cut 1/8 of an inch short. So I'm doing the same thing to this board as well. Rather than remeasuring it, I just went ahead and scribed it and used that previous board as a template. I'm currently using a countersink drill bit to pre-drill holes into these boards. You don't have to use a countersink drill bit. You can use a 5/64 drill bit, and 3/16 drill bit if you're using a number 10 screws to attach these boards to the wall, which I will show you shortly. I decided to use 2.5 inch Phillips head number 10 wood screws, and you can buy these on Amazon. I got mine from Home Depot a while back. You can buy them in bulk. You can buy them by pieces. I will be using this stud finder to find studs in the wall, which will indicate where I need to put these screws. And this is how you have to use, or you can also buy this at Home Depot, which you can see I took a picture recently. You can get it on Amazon as well. So to use the stud finder, press it snug against the wall, hold the button, and start dragging. And you'll see the line on the indicator indicates where the stud is, where the edge of the stud is. And you got to go to the other side and find the other edge of the stud. You also have a laser light that shines a line on the wall, which you can't see in the picture, but it does. And I just marked the center point with the line and a C. Now, if you accidentally put the stud finder on a stud and start to move it, it won't find the stud. So, as you can see, I move to the left, hit the button, finds the same edge. To the right, hit the button, finds the right side. And that's how you use a stud finder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure on the wall. I already used the stud finder to find where the studs are. There's one on the right, and there's one roughly about the center of the cabinet. The one on the far left is too far from the edge of the cabinet, so it won't be able to work. I'm marking the distance from the right side of the wall, 27.5 and 3 3/4 from the right side of the cabinet. And in the next part of the video, you'll see I have the cabinet on its back, oriented in a way to where I can mark lines from the edge of the cabinet at 3 3/4 and 27.5. So I already marked the left one from the edge of the cabinet. Now I'm measuring from the inside of the cabinet to that line, which is going to be roughly 3 inches because I'm deducting the side of the cabinet to the inside of where I need to mark the holes. And I'm doing the same with the 27.5, except I'm measuring from the the inside divider. Here's my 5/64 drill bit that I'm using to drill the holes. And by pre-drilling the holes, what this is doing, it's allowing the screw to pass through the cabinet freely. And this allows it to snug to the wall as I screw the screws into the stud. It also allows me to put the screws in and have them rest in the cabinet as I lift it into place, which will eliminate the need for me to reach for screws as I'm holding the cabinet in place. Now, one piece of equipment that I like to have, it's not necessary, but it would be worth it to get a cordless vacuum that I have here. I chose Makita because I've had Makita for years and I am loyal to them, and I have had very good luck with their tools and everything that they offer. So I'm sticking with them, and this is what I'm using now. You can use, a dustpan and a little broom if you like to do that as well to clean up the dust. Now, what I'm doing here is I lifted the cabinet onto the shelves that you saw in place. I put the cleats on the wall, as you can see, and I screwed them to the wall. Now, it's a very heavy cabinet, and this is why I had to put cleats up. So I had to put the cleats up so that the cabinet could rest on the cleats while I screw in the screws. And as you can see, the left side of the cabinet is sitting a little low, so I'm going to have to push it up as I screw in, and I can't really do it from the middle, so I got to extend out a little bit further, push up, and screw that screw in. And it is hitting the stud, which is good. My measurements were accurate. Now, you'll know when you hit a stud because the screw you'll hear, if you're using an impact, it'll make like a ratcheting sound, which I can demonstrate in another video. So I'm screwing 4 screws in per cabinet. As you can see, I got the bottom one in on the right side. Now I'm getting the bottom one in on the left side. And I got the 2 screws on the top already in. Now I'm going to remove these cleats, and I'm going to reuse them for the bottom cabinet. So you'll see this shortly, taking them all out. And you can see I'm shaking the cabinet. It is secure. Now, I'm going to measure for the new cleats. So I'm measuring from the top down 17 inches because that's how tall the cabinet is. And I'm going to do it in 3 points. I'm doing it over here as well. The reason I'm doing it over here is because I found out that shelf on the left is lower than the shelf on the right. So the one on the left, that cleat is going to have to be slightly bigger. The 2 on the right, I'm making at 17 3/4. The one on the left, I'm making 18 even. Now, what I realized with doing this, and I know better, I just didn't do it on this one. I should cut the cleats just a shy shorter than the dimension I need. The reason being is because if you make it snug and you cut them to the size of the opening that you actually need, it's difficult to get the cabinet to fit within the upper cabinet and the cleat. And if I were to have cut them an 1/8 inch shorter, this would have been a little bit easier. And you'll see in the next part of the video the issue I'm having. So here we go. I'm lifting up the cabinet, getting it into place. I'm not on the second to top step, which I should have been, as you can see shortly. It was a little harder to get it up from that height. So stepping up one more step helped out a lot. I was able to get more leverage on it, lift it up. And as I push it up, I realized that I can't push it against the wall because that left cleat is cut a little too long, and I can't push the cabinet against the wall. So what I'm going to do is I secured the right screw in just to secure the cabinet in place. I'm going to try and push this and wedge it up, which doesn't work in that orientation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up against the wall now and push it into place, which snugs that gap nice and snugly. So here we go. I'm going to screw this screw in. Now it's pretty much secure, but I got to get those 2 bottom in, 2 screws in the bottom, and also secure the 2 on top, which snugs the cabinets together. This will make sure that gap does not separate over time. So here we go. I'm going to put the bottom screws in, and now the cabinet is secure. I'm going to remove the cleats because they are no longer needed. As you can see, I'm hanging from the cabinet. And I realized that the right cleat was in, so that's why it was secure. Either way, it's pretty tight. And as you can see, this is how it's installed. I already put some storage up there, all extra clothes and linens and things from our firstborn. So I decided to do something different on the other wall. What I'm going to do is put a cleat horizontally and just use one cleat. I already pre-measured all the studs. I pre-drilled all the holes in the cabinets at this point. And at this point, I'll just show you how quickly you can get it done with all the planning is in place. And in this case, I have all the holes in the cabinets pre-drilled. I have all the lines drawn on the wall on where the cleats need to go. And I'm gonna bring the cabinet in, rest it on the cleat, and install it. And up it goes. Once again, I'm on the right height. I just lift it up, get it lifted up a little differently than I did before, but it works. And I'm pushing it to the wall, pushing it to the adjacent wall, and screwing in the first screw to secure it, screwing in the bottom screw, screwing in the other two, and there you go. It is in place. It's that easy. Now I'm going to remove the bottom cleat. And I'm going to place it in the new location. It is right here. I'm just measuring it with a measuring tape. Measuring over from the left to where the first hole or first stud is to make sure that the hole in the cleat matches up with where the stud is on the wall. And there we go. Worked out well. I'm holding the cleat down just an 1/8 inch shy of the line, so it's easier to lift the cabinet into place. And up I go. Lift it into place, push it up against the wall, on both walls. I couldn't get that top to be flush with the cabinet above, so I figured I'd screw this screw in first, see if it helped. It did a little, but it didn't snug it all the way. The reason is that top screw was just on the edge of that stud and it didn't get enough bite. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to back the screw out after I screw in the tops. So close the gap between the two cabinets. And I'm going to angle this screw in so it angles towards the stud and it'll get more bite. And that worked. Sometimes it doesn't work because you're so close to the edge, it just doesn't have enough angle to get the bite. So here are the tools I used: a pencil, stud finder, and a measuring tape. Then you have your impact drill on the left and your drill on the right. This is with the 5/64 drill bit and a Phillips head screw bit. Thanks for sticking around till the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will post more videos as I do more home improvement projects, and I hope you will be back to watch those as well. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll know when the next video posts. Thanks again.